everyone. Thanks for joining us for this second video with David Hobbs for the Essex UFO and Paranormal group. And I think if you listened to or watched our last one, our last little chat, thanks for having a little listen to it. I think we've had over 100 watches on it, haven't we, Dave? As far
I
as I
think
know.
last time I looked, I think it was 160.
Yeah, that's not bad, is it? I mean, it's
I don't know how many you're supposed to get, but I'm happy with 160. You
no,
know,
I mean, really, it's aimed at our group, the Essex Paranormal group. So, if for people that might not have been able to get to the talks and stuff, and to see
yeah,
a little bit about what goes on, and see
yeah.
you and see me, you're the more important one. But
I don't think so. I'd like to feel important. If I was that important, I'd be wearing a suit and tie.
well, oh yeah, I should have put a suit and tie. No, never mind. We'll
No,
do
no,
it. We'll do that
absolutely.
next time.
Okay.
But anyway,
Yeah,
we were on the last show. Or show or presentation, whatever you want to call it. We were talking about your paranormal experiences, and we didn't quite get to some of the further experiences that you'd had. You'd had
yeah,
some other stuff. So, do
yeah.
you want to carry on from where we left off, kind of thing?
Okay, I can do that. Let me think. Where were we? I think we were at the stage where I'd started healing
Yeah, yeah.
and then
And
various.
you were talking a little bit about maybe getting into exorcisms type of thing. Is that your
Uh,
field?
yeah, I don't really call myself an exorcist, to be honest. Done a lot of that sort of a thing myself, and as you know, my partner Anne, she's my partner in crime when we do this sort of a thing. And yeah, we've been on literally hundreds of cases over the years. Most of them pretty unamazing, and one or two that were pretty amazing. I think the first case I ever went on, and I tell you the truth, I'd never been on one. I knew nothing about it really, and it was a chap called Kevin Wade. I don't know if you've ever heard of Kevin.
No.
He was a medium, and he used to do a radio program. I think it was Essex Radio, one of those. And people would call in, speak to Kevin, and he would give them sort of readings, medium readings over the telephone. And I got to know Kevin through one reason or another. And one day I had a phone call, and Kevin said to me, "Oh," he said, "I don't know if you can help me out here." He said, "I've got a lady in Croydon who's got a bit of a problem. I've been down there," he said, "and I couldn't make much out of it." He said, "And to be honest, with the radio and one thing and another, I haven't got a lot of spare time. Is there any chance you could go down and see the lady or telephone, give her a call?" I thought, well, blimey, I've never done anything like this before. I've only been doing this sort of thing for 5 months, 6 months, something like
Hmm.
that. And okay, yeah, I said, okay, that's not a problem. Not a problem.
Must have been a bit scary, though, isn't it? Being chucked in the deep end like that.
Well, it was a bit, but you know me, it's a wing and a prayer, wing and a prayer. Anyway, he gave me the lady's telephone number. She lived down in Croydon. I thought, well, I'll give her a call now. So anyway, I rang the number, and the lady of the house answered the phone. I said, "Hello, it's David here from Healing Hands." And, "Oh, Dave," she said, "oh, I'm so pleased that you've called me. Oh," I said, "Yeah, what's the problem?" Well, bear in mind, this was, I think, July or August. And she said to me, I'm in my house," she said. "I'm wearing a fur coat, a hat, gloves. The central heating's full up and it's freezing cold." I said, "Oh, okay, right, it's cold. What can that be?" And then I said, "Well, so what's going on there?" "Well," she said, "my son, he's been having a bad time of it." She had a little, put you in the picture, his mum. There's a daughter in the house who was about 17, and a little chap called Michael, a lovely little boy. I think he was about 8 years old. And they were sort of Jamaican family, or were way back.
Hmm.
And I said, "Okay, what's going on?" So she explained to me that there were bad smells, freezing cold temperatures. But worst of all, her daughter's, I think she was doing her A levels at the time, her work had vanished. All of her work that she had for the exams had gone. And I thought, oh, dear me, this is bad. And then she was explaining how Michael gets thrown out of bed, picked up and thrown across the room, sort of a thing. And I'm thinking, oh, this all sounds a bit, yeah, really?
Sounds a bit infield poltergeist type thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, basically, well, not quite as bad as that. Well, maybe as bad as
Yeah,
that.
well, it sounds it to me.
So anyway, I thought, well, what do I do here? And I thought, oh, she's mentioned Michael. He seems to be the one with the problem. I said, is Michael in the house? And she said, yes, he's upstairs. I said, can you call him down? She said, well, there's a telephone upstairs. She said, I can call him and get him to pick the telephone up. So anyway, I look at Michael, picked the telephone up. So he's picked it up and this little voice has said, hello. I said, hello, Michael, my name's David. And I just started chatting to him about various things, sort of get into, I didn't want to go straight into the matter. And I found out he liked football and this sort of thing. And he played football in the street with his friends. And he was quite important because it was his football, so he was the head honcho of this little game. So then after a little while, I said, Michael, do you have any visitors come to see you in the house? Any friends? He said, oh, yeah. He said, I've got friends. I said, okay, who are the friends then? Oh, he said, there's the two boys. Okay. He said, there's the Victorian girl. Pardon? He said, Victorian girl. I said, I think he's only a boy. So how do you know about Victorian girl? Oh, he said, I've seen pictures at school and things like that. He said, Victorian girl. Oh, and he said, and there's the lady with the red hair. Okay. And he then went on to name several others. So in the meantime, I said, Michael, could you just let me speak to your mum again? Okay. So I said to his mum, did you hear that? She said, yeah. She said, some of those are real and some of them are not. I said, well, she said, the two little boys, she said, I think those are his friends from down the road, play football with. She said, the Victorian, I don't know, lady with the red hair. Okay, I said, can you put me back to Michael, please? So I go to Michael. Hello, Michael. I said, okay, so you've got your friends that come and see you. I said, no, the lady with the red hair. Oh, yes, he said. And I said, have you noticed that some people are a little bit lighter in skin, to other people? Oh, yeah, he said, I noticed that. I said, the lady with the red hair, has she got darker skin? Oh, no, she's got light skin. Oh, okay. I said, does she see you very often? Yes, he said she comes to see me a lot. I said, okay, is she anywhere about now? He said, yeah, she's in the room with me. Okay, so I said, okay, Michael, bear in mind, I'm on the phone. I can't actually see what's going on. So I said, okay, Michael, do me a favour. Can you give her a wave? Yes, he said. What's she doing now? Oh, she's waving back. Okay, I said, could you ask the lady with the red hair if she intends staying very long? Do you intend staying very long? No, he says she's going to stay for a little while, but then she's going to go. It suddenly struck me, I'm having a chat with a ghost over the telephone. What's going on here?
More or less, yeah.
More or less, yeah. So anyway, I said to him then, because I didn't want to frighten the little lad, I said, and tell me, Michael, I said, is there anybody else that comes to see you? And he went, you mean the nasty lady? I said, oh, nasty lady. I said, how nasty? Oh, she said, I don't like her. She's horrible. She's nasty. And I said, he said, she does horrible things to me. Oh, okay, Michael. And now I'm thinking, what the hell do I do about this? And I know this now gets a little bit bizarre, to say the least. I thought to myself, this kid is a natural. Actually, he can't tell the living from the dead. So I said, you notice it's cold in the house, Mike? Yes, he says, cold. I said, I want you to do something for me. Oh, what's that? I said, I want you to imagine And just imagine the house getting warmer and warmer and warmer. Can you do that for me? Yes, he said, I can do that. So I could hear his mum downstairs shout, it's getting warmer.
Oh God! I thought you
So
said it. I thought you said it wasn't as good as the Enfield Poltergeist. This is a better story than that.
well, maybe. Uh, so yeah, so I thought, oh, this I've got an absolute diamond of a kid here.
Hmm.
And then I said, okay, what I want you to do now, Michael, I said, is I want you to imagine a really nice bright white light, and it spreads all through the house, and makes it really bright and lovely. And can you do that? Yes, he said. So he did that, and suddenly they were warm, blah, blah, blah. Everything was fine. And so then I said, well, can you put me back to your mum now, please, Michael? Yes, she said. So I said, bit concerned. I said, this lady, this nasty lady. Oh, she said, I know who that is. I said, oh, you know who it is? She said, yeah, it's me mum. I said, your mum? Yeah, she said, she was really wicked, horrible. She said, my children don't even know that she ever existed. I've never told them. I've never mentioned them at all. They doesn't know she exists. I said, okay. I said, do you have a picture of her anywhere? Oh, she said, up in the loft somewhere. I've got one buried, she said, but I said, okay. Can I give you 5 minutes and you go up and please get it out? Oh, okay, she said. So anyway, a little while later, she's back on the phone, we're chatting. I said, have you got the picture? They said, yes. And it was a group photograph of a wedding back in Jamaica. So as you can imagine, there were lots and lots of people there. Uh, I don't know, on reflection, must have been 30 people in this picture, this wedding that's going on. I said, can you get Michael down? Yeah, yeah. Michael, come down. I said, all right, Michael. Yeah, yeah. I said, Mummy's got a photograph to show you. I said, can you see anybody in it that you know? And he's gone, yes, he said, it's the nasty lady. And I said to Mum, who's he pointing at? And she said, yes, it's her. He picked her mother out of this photograph.
Wow, that is yeah.
So anyway, what would you have done next, David? Tell me what you would have done next.
Me, I think I'd have run out the door, but
Well, I wasn't there. I was
oh
on
yeah,
the.
of course. No, I mean, no, I mean, I would think I would have really wanted to find out a lot more. You know, I kept
Well,
digging. I think um,
what
find
I
out
did,
who the red-haired lady is as well. Was that did that come to light?
I said to the lady, actually, okay, I'll come and visit you, and because you've got to be there, really. And okay, she said. So I said, I'll come back to you when I can know when I'm coming down. I said, it'll certainly be in the next couple of days. So thank you. Phone down. Bloody hell, what do I do now? I know. I'll get hold of Sheila and David. Those are the people that run the spiritualist centre that I went to, Healing Hands. I thought they've got lots of experience in this sort of thing, and I've got none. I
Mm.
mean, zilch, zero, only my intuition. That's all I had to work with. So I telephoned them, and oh, yes, they said that would be interesting. We'll certainly come over. So arranged a time and a date. And at that time, I was married to a lady called Maggie. And so Maggie, myself, and Dave and Sheila made an arrangement, went down to see the people. And, we arrived at the house. It's a nice little house in a sort of a terrace there. Nice family, pleasant mum, a cup of tea and a chat, this sort of thing. And she said, oh, can you stop her coming? Oh, well, we'll have to have a little look first of all. So with that, we went into separate rooms. My wife went upstairs, and I didn't know, but upstairs in one of the bedrooms was the daughter. She was sort of keeping out of the way for whatever reason she wanted to keep out of the way. So Sheila, myself, and my wife then, we went round a few rooms and we went up into a bedroom. And I said, can you pick anything up today? And yeah, she said, there's a woman here, and she sort of thought, oh, I know who that is. And I sort of tuned in. I thought, yeah, I can sense her. Can't see her, but I can sense her. And anyway, so I said to Sheila, well, you know what to do now. I said, I've not done this before. Can you maybe get her to move, to go, not to trouble these people anymore? So anyway, they sort of tried very, very hard indeed. But the lady was having none of it at all. She was going absolutely nowhere. What do I do now? Oh my God. Okay, let's go downstairs and have a cup of tea and think about this. So we went downstairs and Mum's there and little Michael's come into the room. Come sit here, Michael. Let's have a little chat, you know. So I was chatting away and all of a sudden I don't know, inspiration, call it what you like. I said, Michael, is that lady, you know, is she in the room or is she in around there? He said, yes, she's standing in the corner there. And he's pointed as if like, can't you see her? You know? And okay, I said, I want you to do something. Oh, what's that? I said, I want you to stand up and imagine you've got the most beautiful bunch of flowers in your hand. Beautiful. Can you do that? Yeah, yeah, he said, I can do that. I said, now go over to the lady, give them to her and tell her that you love her. Okay. So he's gone over to the corner of the room. Da-da-da, chat, chat, love you. Oh, what's happening, Michael? Oh, there's a man coming. Okay. How does she seem about? How does she look about? Oh, she's very happy. She said she's really happy. And they're going. And they went and never came back again.
Wow.
Anyway, I thought to myself, this is all very well, but this little beggar, he's going to be inviting people in all the time, isn't he? What? So anyway, what do I do? Oh, Michael, come out. Let's go and sit in the garden and we'll have a little chat. So left the family behind us, went in the garden and sat on a wall. And I said to him, oh, you love playing football, don't you, Michael? He said, yeah. He said, my football's a really good one. I said, is it? Excellent. That's lovely. I said, do you know what a burglar is? A burglar, he said. Don't they steal things? I said, they do. I said, now, the problem we have here, these people that come into your house, what would you do if one of them stole your football? Well, his face looked as if the world had come to an end, you know? And he went, oh, okay. Well, I won't ask them. I won't talk to them anymore then. And I thought to myself, you will because you can't help it because you're a natural, but you're not going to invite people in all the time, blah, blah, blah. So basically, oh, and then on the way home in the car, we were talking and I said to my wife, well, where did you go? Oh, she said, I went upstairs and the daughter was there. She seemed very frightened. I said, oh, really? Why is that? And so she spoke to the daughter, and apparently when the daughter looked in the mirror in her bedroom, this old lady's face would appear in the mirror and tell her to kill Michael. Yeah, tell her to kill him, you know. So obviously she didn't kill him because we met him.
No, it's
You know, there
scary
was
stuff, though.
really, really bad influence
So,
going on.
so she was bringing on like a scrying type of thing. Now, normally you normally have to sort of bring that on yourself. So, would she have been um, psychic or something as well in order to do
Well,
that?
interesting you should say that. Speaking to the woman on the telephone a few days later, because I wanted to make sure that everything was okay, and yes, it's all great and it's all lovely. It turned out, chatting to her, that her family back in Jamaica, one or two of them were really famous mediums.
Wow.
She's come from a totally mediumistic to psychic family. She said one of them, people used to come from all over the world to see her. And I thought, well, that's what's happened there. And obviously, it's passed on to Michael.
Mm.
She doesn't take any notice of it, but Michael's now got all of this ability, and he's going to have to learn to cope with it and to cope with visitors to the house, etc.
Mm.
So yeah, so that was I think probably the most interesting, the first and
That
most
is
interesting.
fascinating. I mean, with the daughter again, did she not have any experiences of seeing people as well, just like that? If she did have those, um,
I don't know because my wife spoke to her, and to be honest, on the way home, it was quite odd. We were all fairly quiet. I think we were still like a little
let it
bit
sink in, yeah.
thinking about what was going on. No, the only thing that she did say was about this woman in the mirror telling her to kill Michael. And, yeah, that was it,
Oh,
really.
that's pretty scary stuff, isn't it? You know.
Well, yeah, it was pretty scary for the family. And it just showed, well, what does it just show you? It just showed that, well, it was a crazy place, but a very
Mm.
interesting one. Yeah, so that was the first case that I went on, and one that I will never ever forget.
Yeah, I mean, to have something like that, first off, I mean, you were already convinced that something was going on,
Yeah.
from what we gathered on the last time we spoke about
Mm.
your first experiences, because you weren't really sure what was going on, were you, at first?
I
So
was.
that must have been an awful lot of evidence for you yourself. You know?
It was, but again, as I said in our first talk, I didn't really think in those terms. I just got on with stuff. It didn't seem
Mm,
like, wow, that was interesting. And then after a few days, it was all forgotten, sort of thing. Um, I mean, what happened then after that, if I can go on another tack, if you remember on our last program, I explained to you that I started to run a little circle and we had all
mm.
sorts of things going there. And one of the things I explained to you was that in the opening, we would call the quarters north, south, east, west, spirit. Well, that didn't come from mediumship, that came from something else that I'd got involved in a little while before. And maybe I can go into that a little bit.
Yeah, please do. Yeah,
My dear.
that's what we're here for.
Okay, so back to healing hands and doing the healing and quite enjoying it. People coming in and there's this little social thing going on. I did enjoy doing the healing. Um, so somebody said, "Oh, on Saturday we've got a guest coming a bit different. Sorry, Sunday we've got a guest coming. A bit okay." Well, I was there every Sunday anyway. So I went in the hall, and the hall was absolutely packed again as usual. The Women's Institute Hall in Canby. Nice warm atmosphere, people chatting, this sort of thing. And then Sheila, the lady that ran things, she got up on the stage and she said, "We have somebody to speak to you this evening. It's not on spiritualism," she said, "but he will explain as he goes along." Oh, okay. So suddenly this guy strides out from the side door where the mediums and that used to prepare and then come off onto the stage. And he's dressed in a full robe, carrying a huge sword with this big dangly thing around his neck, and a bearded man. And his name was Jeff. I won't give you his surname. He has written a book, who hasn't? And I thought, oh, blimey, this is different. So I could hear everybody in the place sort of muttering and mumbling. What's all this? What's going on? I mean, so anyway, he started to talk, and he was speaking about the Merlin and how he worked with the Merlin and the Merlin energies.
All
Well,
right.
obviously, at that time, did I know what the Merlin? Of course, I didn't know what the Merlin, but I found it interesting. I could hear people at the back, going, "This is black magic, isn't it? Oh, black magic!" And they're all muttering, giggling, this sort of a thing. Anyway, he gave his talk, most of which I've forgotten, and basically his proposition was that imagine a wheel with all spokes going to the centre, and it doesn't matter if you're Christian, Jew, whatever you are, spiritualist, all of those spokes go back to the same place. So, in other words, we're all going in the same direction, but with different belief systems. And he was a practicing magician, apparently. He didn't actually say that. I found that pretty damn quick that he was. So, anyway, I was so, how can I say, embarrassed by the reaction of the people in the hall. I thought, this is horrible. This guy isn't asking for money. He's come up and he's given his time. and he's explaining about, the Merlin link and this sort of a thing, working for the light, whatever that is. So I thought, I'm going to invite him back to my house for a cup of tea. So I said to my first wife, sorry, I have to run through. I said, is it okay? Do you mind if you want to stay and do some healing? Because by then she was doing it as well. I said, I'm going to invite, Jeff and his wife back for a cup of tea. No, she said, that's fine. Okay. So I went up and I said, oh, would you like to come back to my place? Oh, yeah, that'd be lovely. So anyway, we went back to my house and we sat down. I obviously made them a cup of tea, coffee, whatever. And we chatted for a little bit. And he was getting a bit, well, pulling a few faces because being a magician is a very important person, you see. And I didn't know he was a magician. So anyway, I was sitting there all of a sudden. Don't ask me how. I could sense that something was coming toward the house. And let me see, that would be coming from the east, yeah. And I was sitting there a bit uncomfortable. It's definitely something coming. So I said to him, do you know there's something coming it's on its way? He said, oh, yeah, I know. I said, well, what is it? He said, I don't know. He said, I can call it in if you like. He said, but I don't know what will happen when it gets in. Okay. So by then, I was working quite strongly with guides. So I said to him, okay, I'll ask my guide if it's okay. And I used to be able to click in instantly and the guide was there, that's the way I got by then. So I clicked in instantly and it's, okay, Chinese guide. And I sort of said to him, what do you think to this? Is it okay to let this in? And he just sort of went, up to you. Oh, this is really great, this. And then he went. And no, sorry, he didn't go, he stayed. And Val, the guy's wife, who was a platform medium, it turned out, she said to me, do you mind if I test your guide? I said, what do you mean test him? She said, to see if he's genuine. Oh, no, go ahead. He's back in. She said to me, who was now under the influence of the guide, tell me the story of the willow pattern. Do you know the story of the willow pattern?
Are you asking me?
I am.
No, I don't.
Nobody knows the story of the willow pattern, but he did. This guy told her the story of the willow pattern and went. And I said, is that okay? She said, yep, that is a genuine guide. So anyway, I thought, okay, go on then. Call it in, whatever it is. So with that, he started saying these words, which I won't repeat here now for obvious reasons. And boom, once again, the whole damn room lit up, which I've had experienced before.
Can I
mean,
stop you? Can I stop you there?
yeah.
Go on, do the words, just see it.
No. I've never told anybody the words in my life. But the translation,
This will go viral. This video, if you do.
it will. But I can tell you that the actual meaning, not the words, because I went with the actual meaning was something along when the breath of the dragon lies truth or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, the whole room, all I can see is light now, and it's brilliant.
That's amazing.
And then suddenly, it gets more amazing. In the middle of the room, I could see this spiral starting to come up, build up, getting taller and taller and taller. What the heck is that? And it was brighter than the bright light. And as it came up, it was a dragon, a full light size, huge.
Ah.
Oh,
You're there.
we just got cut off there, David.
Yeah, I lost you for a second. Yeah, that's all right. You disappeared. I was still here, unless I disappeared your end. But anyway, carry on.
I just said this meeting is being recorded.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same thing. It hasn't stopped my end. Anyway, carry on.
Talk about coming in at a crucial moment.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway,
I went, oh.
I'm sitting in the chair and there is this dragon, and I sort of stood up, uh, not physically, but I stood up, yeah. And the dragon came towards me, and as it did, we embraced. And the feeling of love was so immense, I can't even describe it to you. It was absolutely immense. And I don't know why, but I suddenly recognized this dragon. I had no idea why. And I said, "Oh, it's you." And it went, "Who were you expecting?" And then with that, backed off, back down, disappeared, light come down, all back to the normal room, but the air is still going, bzzz, still really, really buzzing.
Yeah.
So taking the guy back for a cup of tea kind of changed my life a little bit and my view on things. So after that, he was quite keen for myself, my wife, and one or two other people to work with him. The magician, this is obviously Jeff. And so basically, we did. We started working with Jeff, and he taught us some very basic rules, which I've always held to and have found they've always been correct.
Mm.
Always be polite. Always, absolutely be polite. And that was when things started happening in life that really got a little bit cranky. Would you like me to tell you another part of the
Yeah,
story?
good. I just wanted to say something about that dragon. Because we might get into, I mean, perhaps we'll have to do a third one of these to talk about UFOs because we haven't gone that way yet. But when we hear about UFOs and things, and we often hear about the reptilians,
Yes.
I'm wondering if this dragon has some sort of a connection to the alien reptilians.
Oh, definitely not.
I'm not suggesting that. I'm just questioning
No,
maybe because we do
no,
hear a lot
because
about.
I found out it took me some years to realise who and what the dragon was, which I won't say now, but I realised what it was, and it's definitely not a reptilian.
Right.
All right, if you want to know what it was me. It was my other real self. Pure love, pure light. That's what we are. In,
Yeah,
in
no,
my
I do believe that myself. I do kind. It's very difficult for anyone watching this to kind of get your head around that sometimes because if you start thinking about a holographic universe and stuff like that,
uh, don't worry about holographic universes. The only way is to keep it simple because the problem is our mind starts adding pieces, adding
mm,
bits. And in the end, we've lost the simplicity of what it really is. It's love and
yeah,
it's light.
yeah. Now, what I was trying to get at is that because of this that concept, you're kind of seeing a reflection of yourself within that hologram. If you see what
Yeah,
it,
well,
it
it's showing me what we truly are,
yeah.
all of us, every one of us. And until I find out any different when I pop my clogs, I'll hold to that.
Well, your other self would already know that anyway, won't
Well,
it? You know, your
well
spiritual self.
yeah. Okay. I'd give you an example of what happens once you get into that world. Yeah. One of the things that Jeff taught me was that wherever you go, you honour the land. This land, our land. This is Merlin's land, and the Merlin, blah blah, Archmage of England. So wherever you go, if you're going on a journey in a car and you cross a border, you acknowledge you've crossed the border. I ask for permission to enter. Blah blah blah. It sounds silly, but in the end, you find yourself doing it when you're going into a field, anywhere, and it's kind of nice. So anyway, one day we went, a friend and I, he invited me to go fishing off of Dover, and we were going to go cod fishing. And okay, so off we went, and we arrived at Dover. There was the boat, and we got on the boat and we set out to sea. Excellent. This is really good. Lovely. I love sea fishing. So in order to catch cod, I had no idea. I had to sort of watch what they were doing. And you have your line, okay, then you have a swivel, then you have a big chromium tube that's full of lead. So that's heavy. That's a heavy weight because the tides out there, they will sweep your line away and you won't touch the bottom, so you won't catch fish. And then under that, there's another line with another swivel. And then under that is a hook. And attached to the hook, or it looks like a little octopus thing. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I looked at this thing, I chucked it in the water. Oh no, it's getting swept away. So what I did, I reeled it back in. And where the line came down, and there's the first tube, I hooked another one, exactly the same sort of tube, to double weight on there. So it's now like that. As I went to throw it in, my mate's gone, that's no good. You're presenting too big a face to the current now. He said, that'll just get swept away. Oh, I see. Well, it's in now. I can't be flipping bothered, you know. Anyway, I sit in there and boom, 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 boom. Oh, yeah, I'm in. Look, and I'm reeling in. As I reeled the line out, it was set up exactly how it should have been, not how I had made it. There was one weight line and another weight directly below it. And suddenly in my head, I thought, I forgot to say, please, I need permission to come out on the ocean. So I did that. You see, it was a little reminder. In my world, at that time, that was a way of saying, you forgot something, didn't you, David? And I had forgotten, and that was, I figure, to teach me a lesson. And my mate, when I reeled it in, went, bloody hell, Paul Daniels.
That's what I'm saying. Could that not happen then? Sort of, is there no way that could happen naturally?
Absolutely impossible.
No, I don't know anything about fishing. I'm just wondering,
Well,
you know,
you have to tie very tight knots, and you know, no, there's no way in the world, absolutely no way that could happen. It's a bit like saying, oh, could I get a woolen jumper, pull it right down to nothing, so it's back to a ball of wool, and then it will go back all of a sudden into being a jumper? No,
wow.
there's
Well, that is
there's,
something fascinating then.
yeah, so there's no way that could happen. But
No, I had to ask that question because people out there
mm,
watching this would actually think that, think, oh, perhaps it was just a coincidence and it's just happened.
oh,
If they're like me and know nothing about fishing,
yeah, well, okay, yeah, I mean, I appreciate that many people that watch this are going to go, oh, that's a load of nonsense. And I absolutely do not blame them one little bit. You know, that's absolutely fine by me. So then I started doing a little bit of training with Jeff. And as I say, he gave us work to do that involved building an astral temple. So what you do is you sit down and you meditate and you build an astral temple. In which my case, my astral temple was standing stones. So you had a trilithon, yeah, of ancient stones, 2 stones to the left, 2 stones to the right, but with no cap on, and a pool of water behind you. And that we used, you would travel. I mean, I can't do it now. I wish I could, but I could actually travel there and be there as real as sitting in this room, you know. And from there, you would set out and do various tasks that were maybe given to you. And it's quite difficult to actually explain, but you know, you would wander off and perform a task that you were given, and then come back to the stones, and then come back to the room, and then the job would be done. Yeah, be finished. So okay, and then what happened was, and I didn't realise this, Jeff Hughes was actually trying to get the spirit of Excalibur. Yeah, he's trying to get the spirit of Excalibur into a sword. But he had bought this fantastic sword, which is the one that we saw, that I mentioned, you know, that we saw at the meeting.
mm,
In the meantime, another chap that was with us, there was myself, Ian, Gloria, and a chap called Phil, and we were doing these workings. And Phil decided that he was going to make a sword. He was a very clever guy, Phil. He was a sculptor, painter, musician, very, very aware. And so he made this sword, and he showed it to Jeff, and Jeff went, "Oh, okay, then maybe we can use that sword or whatever." So anyway, I didn't know that any of this was going on because for some reason or the other, I was excluded. All the others were doing it, but hadn't told me that they were after this spirit of Excalibur. And they'd gone to the woods as a group, and they'd done a ritual, and they'd called in the spirit of Excalibur, because you see, whoever holds the sword and holds the spirit of Excalibur, to them, they are now the archmage of this land. Yeah? The arch, the top dog. Well, what happened, instead of going into Jeff's sword, who wanted to be the archmage, it went into Phil's sword, the one that he'd made, and he used to carry it here, you know. Incidentally, he was one of the few people in this country that actually could was licensed to bring down game with the longbow. Yeah, he was very clever man. And so anyway, this sword was fine. I didn't know anything about this at all until one evening I was sitting indoors around Gloria and Ian's house. And as I say, we used to meet nearly every night and be doing something. And Phil came striding in, knocked on the door, striding in with his sword. "Oh," he said, "yeah, what do you think of this, Sean?" And he handed it to me. As he handed it to me, this figure appeared in the corner of the room. And I said, "I'll tell you what I think about this sword." I said, "I think it's not yours. There's a character in the corner of the room. It's his. And if you don't give it back to him, you are going to have serious problems." "Oh, I'm not giving it back to anyone." Zoom, and off he went. Yeah. So, okay, fine. That's how you want to play it. That's cool with me. So anyway, then the following night, again round Gloria and Ian's, knock on the door. It's Phil. And he's looking really white and shaky, and he was obviously very frightened about something. So I said, "What's going on?" "Oh," he said, I've got to get rid of this sword." I said, "I told you you've got to give it back." "Yeah, but I don't know how." So you don't know? Oh my God. And I said, "Hang on." And boom, this guy, the character has appeared again in the corner of the room. He said, "Can you give it back?" I said, "Well, me?" Okay. So as I've said that, this character's come into me. Boom. I am now the character. And there were no words. It was mentally, "That's my sword and I want it now." "Oh, yeah, yeah." So he's handed it to me, this sword. And I've, in my mind, handed it to this character. In other words, the character has now got back the spirit of the sword. He's taken the spirit out with him. And as he's leaving, I don't know why, a bit cheeky, I said to him, "If I need it, can I use it?" And he sort of turned back at me as if to say, well, I won't say as if to say, but it wouldn't have been very pleasant. And off he went. And anyway, let's say that this character, he had a name, but I won't tell you the name. Let's call him Zom. 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 So, excuse me, about, probably 10 years later, I was now going to see a shaman. I get around, you know. And this very good shaman, his name was Emrys, and he was a teacher. And he taught you mindfulness and peeling the onion skin. The idea was to find your true self, you know. Anyway, there's a group of people there, and I was sitting next to a chap, and his name's Colin. He's still a friend of mine now, actually, and he was with his wife. I got chatting with Colin, and we became buddies, and we started meeting up. And then one day, I said to him, "Have you ever done anything like in the spirits?" "Oh, yeah." He said, "I used to belong to a group up in Thundersley." I said, "Oh, really? At Thundersley?" I said, "What were you doing?" He said, "Oh, we were working with Excalibur." I said, "Hang on." I said, "I know that Jeff had opposition. There were two groups, which I forgot to mention. Two groups were after this sword, yeah? I'd never met a member of that other
The other
group.
group.
So I said, tell me something. Have you ever heard of Zog? Yeah, he said. We built him. We built Zog as a guardian of the sword. So I'd met a chap who'd been working in the other group against our group to get the spirit of the sword, and they had actually conjured up this guardian of the sword, if you like, and the guardian of the sword was the guardian that I met, and I'm still in touch with it if I want to be. So I don't know if you sort of get the hang of that, but
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? They could conjure up a being, if you like, what would you call it? Is it a being or is it
I'd call it an entity.
an entity? Yeah,
An
that's what I'm saying.
entity.
Now, I mean, this is what I was talking about with the holographic universe theory, if you like,
Yes, yes.
because we should be able to do anything like that. Conjure up anything. Like they say, anything you can think of can be done. Um, Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a very deep subject. I'm only just starting to get my head around it myself. Actually, that theory. I mean, if you'd have said that to me a couple of years ago, I didn't understand a word about it. But I'm just starting to understand it a little bit.
Well, if you're going to do that sort of a thing, you can't mess about with it. You can't
Oh, I
think,
know.
oh,
Yeah.
I'd like to do it. You have to live it.
Mm,
Every minute you have to live it. Jeff lived the life of a magician. He lived the life of every act he did, everything he did. He was actually working a police station as a desk sergeant.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And he did, and I admire him for that. He actually, he lived the life, and he always wore his robes indoors. He meditated every single night and went into the astral plane and met with whoever he worked with, the Merlin, and the Merlin would tell him what he needed to do next, blah, 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 which is not unusual,
Mm.
not in that world.
I
So
mean, that's absolutely fascinating. I mean, talking about the astral plane. I mean, for the next meeting, the Essex UFO and Paranormal Group, we're going to be doing the astral travel, aren't we? With our special guest as the speaker,
I'm trying to think what her name is.
Dodie Hamilton.
Dodie Hamilton. Yes, in actual facts, as you know, plug, we meet every first Friday in the month.
I think
At the
it's the
South.
sixth, isn't it? Is it six?
I believe it is the six, yeah.
Yeah.
And that will be Dodie Hamilton. She's going to speak for not all of the evening,
Now, for about an hour, I think she said.
something like that. And
It's
she's astral travel. She's done a lot of astral traveling.
Yeah,
And
she's written several books actually. If you can
yeah,
you
apparently
can
she
look her
has.
up on Amazon.
Yeah. And then after that, I'm hoping we're going to have cake and sandwiches and tea and all to have a nice little social
Yeah,
Christmas
Christmas social gathering.
for another hour. Yeah. So that should be okay and be
Hmm.
good.
You know, I thought
Yeah.
it's best to get that little plug in when you mentioned about astral travel. It's a subject that's kind of fascinates me a little bit. I mean, it's not just astral traveling; it's sort of like the afterlife and everything, isn't it? So
I can tell you a story about astral travel.
you
I
you
can
can
tell
do that.
you
You can
about
do that. I mean, you've already blown everybody's minds already. I think watching this.
astral travel. Okay, if anybody ever says to me I can astral travel, I can't resist but to give them a test. And quite frankly, they can't. Most of them can't. But I actually had a good friend, John. He was ex-SAS man, and he also practiced magic. And anyway, we were good buddies, good friends. We used to go out socially, this sort of thing. And I had this energy. I lived in a cottage opposite Wakering Church at the time. You could look out the window and see the church. And there was an energy there that I couldn't quite work out what it was. And I said, "Oh, you'll have to astral travel to my cottage one time and see what you can." Oh, yeah, he said, "I can do that." Anyway, I don't know if I should tell you. Okay, I'll tell you anyway.
Well, you're already in it. You're into it now, so
Okay. been out for the evening, came home, and it was only a little tiny cottage. And I went into the little back room. There's a little back room. And all of a sudden, I thought, something's on its way. And as I thought it, I released certain energies at it to stop it. So I thought, I don't like the feeling of this. I was quite capable of doing that then. And it didn't come. Next day, or actually it was a couple of days later, a phone call. Hello, Dave. This is John. Hello, John. How are you? Oh, I'm not very good. I said, well, what do you mean not very good? Oh, he said, I was astral travelling to your place, he said, and suddenly I just smashed into a brick wall, he said, and all my chakras are out. I'm seeing double. I thought, oh my God, this isn't good at all. And he actually ended up in hospital very, very ill, which I've never forgiven myself for because I acted too quickly. But if a threat's on its way, that was it, because I never knew what was going to be coming along my way. But yeah, John's passed now. I was actually with him when he died. And so sorry, John. I know you forgive me. And I know you understand. That's my way of looking at it. So yeah, you have to be very, very careful what you do.
Yeah.
And you know, if somebody said to me, "Oh, I want to learn magic," I'd say, "Don't," because in the end, and this is after quite a lot of other things that happened, I found myself in the middle of the night, in the middle of a field outside Wakering, raging and shouting at the sky. Yeah. And I got back, I thought, right, that's me. I've finished that. I'm not touching it anymore, ever. And I haven't, and I wouldn't. And it's as simple as that. But if you're under really good guidance that's keeping an eye on you and you're doing something like, say, the Fraternity of the Inner Light, work into their system, doing it properly, not like me, just going out and doing stuff, then yeah, that is, I'm sure, a marvellous way of understanding who you are, what you are, and how powerful you truly are. And you truly are. Because as you say, you're making it up with your mind. Yeah? So you can, the more powerful you train your mind, the more focus you give to your mind, it's whatever you touch and whatever you do, then it's going to have an effect.
Yeah. And when we're talking about mind, we're not talking about just the human brain. We're talking about what works within the human brain. It's
Not a lot in my case.
no, you know what I mean. It's very difficult to try and explain to anyone. I think I don't fully understand it myself.
Well, I tell you some. A man I respect immensely, who's again now passed, called Ivor James, was a fantastic spiritual teacher. And I got to like him, and he actually got to like me. He was quite an old guy. He was a band leader in his day and all that sort of thing. And one day I said something to him, and he sort of pulled me to one side and said, David, just remember, everything is mind. Everything is mind. And that was all he said. And it's true. Because, I mean, if I look at you now and you're looking at me, where am I?
Well, I mean, apart from being on my TV screen here, on my laptop screen, and if I shut my eyes, you're not anywhere.
Correct. With them open, I'm in your head, I'm in your mind.
Yeah, that's it.
It's as simple as
That is very, very yeah. If you start reading about or trying to learn a bit about the holographic universe, everything kind of it's difficult to try and explain it really. But
it is. I mean, we use the term holographic because it's current
yeah.
and because people are getting into it. There'll be other words and there'll be other designs on how things work, but everything's mind. Forget all the rest. Just forget the words, the hologram, everything is mind. If you can show me something that isn't mind, I'll be very pleased to see it.
Yeah. No, I'm fully on with that. I mean, when you talked about astral travel and I think we all do it, don't we? Probably in our sleep and
I,
etc. In our spiritual self, which we and sometimes it's a dream that might you might have a half dream or something that you half remember, and you could very well, you could very well be doing an astral travel of some sort.
I think we all do things. Okay, what's real?
Mm,
This or our dreams?
Well, that's it. Yeah,
You know, what is real?
you could be going into another existence. You're right.
Oh, you are going into another existence, really. And dreams, I think, are also, and I did read this somewhere, they're a way of releasing things that you should have done during the day. Only they'll do it in terms that they don't come along the dream and go, oh, you should have mowed that lawn. You know, you've got to be a bit more important than that. Oh, you should have done this. But it will show you in the dream, but in a different way. And I actually experimented with this. I started waking up and writing down what I dreamt, and blow me, it was absolutely right. I could tie it in with what I meant to do the day before and didn't get around to. So that's
Mm,
just one of the things that dreams do. In other words, what they're doing, they're emptying this locker.
mm,
They're getting rid, they're releasing your mind from thinking about what you should have done. You haven't done it. Now you've maybe done it in a dream, so job done. So it's now all nice and clear for the next day.
mm,
That's just an opinion. I don't
yeah,
know. It's
that's
just
brilliant. Now I'll tell you what, we're going to have to do this again. Perhaps in the new year, do another one.
okay.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think in winding up now, I think we ought to give the group another plug. Do you want to do that?
No, you do that,
I'll
David.
do it then. Right.
You're excellent at plugging.
It's the Essex Paranormal. No, hang on. Let's get it right. It's the Essex UFO and Paranormal Group, and
That's right.
It's obviously based in Essex near Southend.
Yeah.
The group meets at the Balmoral Centre,
Yeah.
which is in Westcliff. I haven't got the full address on with me here at the moment, but it's the Balmoral Centre.
Mhm.
Obviously, if you go to the Facebook website, or Facebook site, what we've got,
Yeah.
you can look up and see who the guests are. We've got a full lineup of great guests for next year already.
It certainly has.
Um, but the next one is for the December the 6th. And again, we'll mention it's Dodie Hamilton, who you can
Yeah.
look up on Amazon. And she's read loads of books, and she's a very nice lady, actually. We've met her, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
But so that's December the 6th. If anyone is interested in that and you'd like to come along for a social evening as well.
Don't forget, everybody gets a free flying saucer.
Oh, yeah,
Most
but,
important.
yeah. And have you noticed they've got no sherbet in them nowadays?
No, they're rubbish, aren't they?
Yeah, they used to cram packed with sherbet, didn't they, in the
Yeah,
old
it's
days?
right, but
Now
if
it's
it's
just like a
cold,
little bit of rice paper and that's it.
you know what? Flying saucers ain't what they used to be.
Nothing's like it used to be, is it?
Well, I enjoyed our chat.
Yes, it's been
Um,
very good, Dave.
a bit rambling and going for play, but so many things were happening at the same time
Yeah. No,
and crossing.
we still haven't got into the UFO field yet, but we'll have to do that in the new year, maybe.
Yeah. My UFO experiences have been fairly limited, and what can you say about it?
Well,
Oh,
I can do. Perhaps I can do a bit of talking on that because
brilliant.
I've got a couple of experiences that I can talk about.
Oh,
So
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
do that, and you can ask me questions.
Oh, okay. Could you lend me £10, please?
No.
Oh, UFO then.
No,
Okay, David.
I'm sure I probably can actually, Dave, if you're that hard up. But
Well, I will see you. I
yeah, we've
hope I'll
seen
see
you in a couple of weeks, so we'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you before that anyway,
you. Okay, mate.
at
All the best.
a private meeting.
I will try it, meaning don't tell anybody about that. Shh.
Anyway,
Okay,
Dave, it's been great talking to you, and thanks for listening, everybody, and watching.
all the
Obviously,
best.
by the way, and there will be more. Watch out for
Yeah,
volume 3. Cheers, Dave. See you again soon. Cheers. Bye bye. Bye bye.
all the best. Bye bye.